as a sort of, almost as a last sort of low punch, they say, well, perhaps you can paint a little bit, and perhaps you can draw, but you're nostalgic, as though it's an insult. If I'm an artist, if I'm accepted as an artist, and if I decide something is art, then it is. A Picasso drawing is just a piece of paper with a pencil scribble on it. What's art about that? An Arng drawing is just a piece of paper, and you put a few pencil marks on it. It's the skill to do it. It's the way one does it, and it's deciding to do it in the first place. Anyone can do an Arng, anyone can do a Rembrandt, but they didn't, and they they couldn't. Anyone's 5-year-old kid could have painted Guernica. But they didn't. I use photographs an awful lot because it's such a good form of reference. So yes, I use photography a lot. I've just done a commission to paint Miss Pears, and she was only 3, and we did attempt to sitting. This was just to do a drawing, and she couldn't. She could only sit still for half a minute, and then she had to be coaxed half an hour to sit still for perhaps a minute, and then she cried, and so it wasn't possible. The painting style has been influenced, as most painters are, I think, by other paintings. I think, the actual business of painting is a craft. So when you learn the craft, and it depends how you learn it and who you're then influenced by. There are all sorts of different sorts of pop art, and all sorts of different interpretations of what it was. And I think for a little while I was one, but I'm not anymore. Art as I know it seems to be dying just as quickly as circuses and music halls and things.
Somebody that was a lot closer to the arts or contemporary artists might be able to look at it and think this is brilliant. But just to put a few old things in a frame, I know there's a lot more to it than that, but basically that's it, and I don't think it quite comes off.
Fantastic, I love it. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
I don't quite understand it. The whole thing. I just find it a bit difficult to understand.
I think they're absolutely hideous handmade. Oh, I like it. It's great fun. I think it just really shows us what we are. At least it does to me. Reflection of our times, especially the children. They're just such grey people.
Long time.
I don't know, I don't really like his people, which are smudgy. I like that thing with little toys in it. It's got, it's like shop windows and little toy shops, and the ones with all those postcards. Ooh.
It appeals, some of the paintings in the way that sort of surrealist things, René Magritte, appeals, but I don't know why it appeals. Other things I like because they sort of glue together all the pop bits of childhood and past pop. And just hold the whole thing together, you know. And I like the overall effect of accumulated bits of pop art, which I'd forgotten about, build up together to make a painting of a picture.
Well, they said on the radio that it was pop art. It's not pop art as I understand it. I find it much warmer than I thought it would be. Much more feeling to it. Especially his studies of women, I think, show a very human understanding and human sort of desire to find out and to express what he feels.
I think people are a lot more aware of his work than they realise, because a lot of people are amateur blokes in that they cut out a lot of pictures and like to stick them on the walls. I also like the way that he goes for women's breasts in a way that a lot of artists don't, and he doesn't pretend that they're not as big as they are, which a lot of artists don't, I think.
Do the obvious thing, and what will happen is that everyone else is so busy making light shows and not being a painter, but that I'll be the only painter left or something.